On this episode, I revived this Ice Auger from 1953. I just realized I forgot to give any information about this project at the beginning of this video, so that's what this is. So this auger right here is an auger that was given to me by a friend last winter, who knew I ice fished. He didn't ice fish anymore. I don't remember when the last time he said it ran was, but I knew when I got it that it did not run at the time, that it probably needed seals in the carb or something. So this auger is identical to one that I used to have that I actually sold last year, like a week before this guy gave it to me, which was just coincidence. It was kind of funny. What I ended up finding out through this build, though, is that the one that I had sold was newer than this one is, and so there's a couple little differences in it. But, that being said, this is a build of a 1953 Ice Auger. At the time, it was made by a company called Artisum, who was eventually bought out by the ice fishing brand Eskimo. And so this would have been really, really reminiscent of the earlier, older gas Eskimo augers. This is where those came from. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the rest of the video and watch all the way to the end. Is there a toggle switch somewhere for like an on-off? Because my other one had a toggle switch built in. Ooh. Whew. That's bad. Never seen an air filter like that one before. Let's see if she fires. Well, she's not firing, but it sounds like it's got compression. We'll take this little plate off and get the spark plug out, and we'll pull her over while we're checking it. And yeah, this gas tank needs to get cleaned out. The recoil needs to get lubed up, so we'll shoot some brake cleaner up in there. And honestly, we're going to try and clean this whole thing off because it's gunked up and I got some paint for it. thought they put a screw underneath that. Does that come off or does it not? I'm not getting spark, I don't think. And then I started looking around and I realized there's no on-off switch anywhere on this thing. So I don't know how you would kill the engine once it was on, which then made me think, okay, the one that I used to have had an on-off switch and a primer right here. And I went online and I looked online at this auger. I looked up the model number. It's an Artist Quick Digger 60G. And I went online just to look at pictures of other ones. And I found ones from the 60s that actually are a little bit more updated than this. Then I looked at the serial number here. I'm going to roll this around. And you can see this looks like it was, I think, from 1953. So this thing is, let's see, 2003 would have been 50 years old. 13 would have been 60. So this thing is 67, 68 years old, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, I started looking for the start switch, couldn't find one, and then I looked up underneath of the housing here. Let's grab my flashlight so you can see. Now you can see it well. And you see that little tab coming off? I believe that tab coming off is supposed to be for a kill switch. So what we're going to do is we're going to go uptown, grab a toggle on-off switch, and I have wires, so we're going to wire an on-off switch on, ground it out, and we're going to see if that gives a spark. Okay, so what I've gone and done is I've wired this switch to where I think it's supposed to go and how it's supposed to go. I'm not sure which way is on and off, so we're going to try both ways and see if it fires now, if we've got spark. We're just going to give her a little liquid fire in the old carburetor here and see what happens. Let's open that up and close it up. I don't have this tightened down. Okay, so I've been working on this thing all day, trying to figure out why the heck it won't fire. So here's what I've done so far. I have taken the carb out, cleaned that out. I do have a carb kit for it. I haven't put that in yet. The diaphragm that was in there actually looked okay, but I'll get to that. I don't think this is a fuel issue. I think it's a spark issue, because if it was a fuel issue, I could spray starter fluid into the spark plug hole or the carburetor and it would fire, and that wasn't happening. So that eliminates fuel as the issue, and it feels like it's got good compression. You can feel it popping, so it's got to be spark. So what I've done so far is I have wired on a kill switch, which I don't even have hooked up right now, but I did wire it on. I have checked for spark, and I have spark at the end of the wire here, but it's really weak and it's kind of inconsistent. So what I did was I went to the hardware store. They let me dig through their small engine parts bins that they have in their shop, and I found a condenser. And so I put a new condenser on it. The points look pretty good yet inside. I sanded them down just a little bit just to clean them off with some 320 grit. And I know the condenser's working because after testing it and then taking it back apart, I got shocked pretty good. So the condenser works. I then was like, well, I have a good condenser. It's charging up. I'm getting spark to the end of the wire, but it's not great. So what I did was I took a steel brush or a brass brush, and I just cleaned all of the contacts inside of there. And I was getting spark, but it's inconsistent. It's a little weak. And so what I think I've come to figure out is that this connection right here isn't making a good connection to the wire inside. You can see, if it focuses, that the whoever did this initially just put the crimp through the casing, which works most of the time, but it doesn't take as much corrosion or rust to kind of break up that connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and peel that off of there, strip the casing off, metal brush the wires clean, and then reattach it and see if my spark gets stronger. Okay, so see this here spark plug? Let me focus in on it for you. I don't know if I can. Can't quit. There. Alright, so this spark plug, when I got it, if you can see, there's just a slight gap through there. This is the brand new spark plug, right? That gap wasn't there. The tongue there, the little metal piece on top, was hitting the point, like they were touching the point of the spark plug. There has to be a gap there or the spark plug won't work. So, I know I have spark to the end of the spark plug wire, which means that should be the culprit on the new spark plug and the reason it's not working. So what we're going to do is we are going to shoot some starting fluid into the auger in the spark plug hole, just a little bit. Put this spark plug in now that it's actually has a gap there, it's been gapped, and see if it pops over. We've got spark. Alright, so now we know we're getting spark, we know it fires. Now we can address the fuel tank and the carburetor and make sure that that's feeding it in there properly. And we're also going to, once we get that in, make sure that our kill switch is wired up in there the way it's supposed to so that we can turn it off once it's running. So, progress! Okay, so yesterday I got it to fire and whatnot. So today I spent some time making it look a little better. Now I want to clarify: this is not a restoration. I'm not like stripping everything down and sanding everything down to like bare metal and making it look. I'm making it look better. I'm just spray painting it. I mean I got gunk off of it. I cleaned it up and I'm spray painting it. So that's what I've done. So I removed this front sticker. I've got, like I said earlier, a new one being made so I can put that on there. And I painted that white, painted this white, and I tried to stick to what it originally would have looked like with white and red. Obviously I've got some bleeding of the red here on this white spot, so as it dries I'll touch that up. But the shaft is all shiny and new looking. The head looks pretty decent, the engine I mean. The handles, the grips are still really kind of dirty looking, and so we're going to try and clean those up, but I'm going to wait till it all dries. So I've got the heat on in the shop. I'm going to leave the heat on for a while to let it dry. I also cleaned out the inside of the gas tank with some vinegar, and then I painted the gas tank white and the metal straps that go on it red. So that'll look kind of cool on the back of this thing. And I did it that color because I'm pretty sure that the straps on it were originally red. You could see some like faint red marks on them yet from what it probably would have been like originally. So I'm gonna let this paint all dry. I might, yeah, I'm gonna let this paint dry, and if I get time this afternoon, I'm gonna come back out and try and hook the gas tank up. If I don't get time this afternoon, I'm gonna do it tomorrow morning. So, all right, move some things here quick. As you can see, we got the tank put back on, and I got it all hooked up. Right here, you got the throttle there, which is attached to this lever, and then you've got your choke lever here. That's closed, that's open. I did just zip tie this on-off switch here right now. It's a little loose, so you gotta kind of use two hands to turn it on and off. But I put some fresh gas in this thing. It should fire up, so let's give it a shot. Make sure that that's on. Let's turn the choke up. See if we can't get it to fire and turn on an idle. Wow. Okay. Less choke. There you go. It runs. You can see it idled fine. You can see that it throttled up. You heard it. It's really loud, especially in this little room. But it works. When I did put the gas in the tank, some of the paint kind of wore off because some gas spilled off to the side. So, like I said, the paint job in this thing is not great. I'll touch it up, and then I'm going to take it inside into the basement and let it dry real good there. But the next step is to sharpen the blade on the bottom of this thing, and then we're going to take it out to a lake and try it out. So we're out here at Clear Lake. I've been drilling holes with it and messing with it, and it idled really well in the shop. I adjusted the idle down just a little bit this morning so that it wouldn't engage the shaft clutch at idle. But then when I got out here, it wouldn't throttle up the way it's supposed to. So I've been fidgeting with the settings on the carburetor, and it doesn't idle as good as I'd like it to. You got to feather the throttle a little bit right now, so it needs more adjusting. But it runs and it drills a hole. This is, I got to measure, but I bet it's well over a foot of ice here in this little bay, and this thing just plows through it. Hold on. Alright, well, it works. It doesn't work as good as I'd like it to. That's all purely tuning the carburetor issues, and I am not great at doing that. I gotta learn how to do that some more. But we've drilled, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I've drilled 4 holes out here, and it does work, it does run, and that's pretty cool considering this thing's from 1953. So if you like this video, give it a like, give it a subscribe, comment if you got something, and watch for more. I got more things coming, and you'll probably see this again if I ever go ice fishing and take this thing. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.